Now let's begin the news. The second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has accused government of playing to the political gallery with the recent arrest of some persons they suspect of planning to destabilize the country. Mr. Bagbin says with evidence made available, the arrest could only constitute an attempt for political gains. Speaking on the sidelines of a parliamentary press corps workshop at Pram, Mr. Bagbin challenged government to put the evidence before the courts.
We know the type, caliber of people who can organize and stage a coup. And we know what they mobilize to be able to do that. So far, there is no evidence anywhere to support that this group of people, they have picked a number of them from the Air Force, a number of them from 5 battalion, a number of them from MAS, the military academy that they have picked could be the team that could overthrow government. Without the committal proceedings at the lower court, they are going to present them at the higher court. What we're talking from is what they have made available. And what they've made available doesn't support the allegations they themselves are possible now in Ghana for any group of people to, through the use of force of arms, to change the governance of this country. What we are likely to face in the near future as a country is civil revolt, civil disobedience, because the people are not getting the benefits of multi-party democracy. That is likely to happen. So if it is actually not true that what they are saying was a group of people intending to overthrow the government, that again is unfortunate. The evidence so far, what is made available to all of us, shows that that group of people could not have overthrown our government.
He continues by criticizing government for failing to accept what he says are critical recommendations of the Justice Emil Short Commission report. Government last week issued a white paper on the report on the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election, rejecting a number of key recommendations of the commission. He said government white paper is really a slap in the face of the astute commissioners.
The commission's report has been good. I had the opportunity of reading through it. I disagree with government that they have not been able to fulfill the most critical term of reference. I don't think government got it correct. I think that the issue of the white paper is like following history, even though this time very accentuated. The white paper has rejected about 90% of the recommendations, which is an indictment on the performance of the commission, in spite of all the good work the commission did. I know Emil Short very well. I know Professor Mensa Bonsu. In fact, she was my mate and a friend, and I know the government had done well by bringing these brains and people of tremendous experience and influence in the society to, at the end of the day, give them such a nasty slap in the face. It's unfortunate. I think that the issue of legality or constitutionality of the white paper will have to be looked at. I don't think that the white papers are meant to rather be a ruling on the performance of commissions of inquiry. I think the issue of the white paper is to rather try and give you the force of law, and so that there will be some enforceability of the recommendations or decisions of a commission of inquiry. Unfortunately, it's not what we are experiencing, and I think there's another bitter experience for the nation to look at. We need to change the systems for the better. And so all is good that ends well, but unfortunately the news that we're picking about the attempt at the overthrow of the constitutionally elected government is unfortunate.
Mr. Gbagbein also described the mass failure of students who sat for the Ghana Law School entrance examination as an indictment on lecturers. He said the Chief Justice's position on the matter showed extreme conservatism.
I completely disagree with the Chief Justice's position. Completely. That's extreme conservatism. Extreme. Because we all know the deficit that we have in this country concerning the legal profession. There is a crying need for us to have certified practitioners in various areas of our country. Unfortunately, the authorities who are regulating legal education are very conservative to the extent that we're trying to give some kind of elevation to the legal profession. It's like any other profession. Definitely the fact that mass education, doing mass education doesn't mean you eliminate quality. You know, they are not opposed to each other. They are complementary. They move together. I think that the Chief Justice got it wrong. I will support the establishment of more schools of law. I think that the Chief Justice got it wrong. I will support the establishment of more schools of law to educate people. I will support the establishment of a system that can regulate quality. Okay, and I will support the education of more lawyers in this country. The whole country of 30 million, we have about 4,000. And out of these 4,000, is just a few that are in actual practice. The police are called in to prosecute cases because of lack of lawyers. The district assemblies are struggling to get the legal framework of our country to operate with because of lack of lawyers. You know, there are very many areas, including the financial sector, where you need lawyers.
Meanwhile, non-residential freshmen of the University of Ghana say they are dissatisfied with the arrangements put in place so far by the school authorities in resolving the accommodation challenges that they face upon admission. They say the lack of hostel accommodation is affecting their finances and academic activities so far. They are therefore calling on the university administrators to put in place sustainable measures to forestall the situation. JoyNews Evans Aziamo Mensah was there and filed this report.
The lack of accommodation has become a topical issue following the inability of the University of Ghana to provide beds for more than half of the over 18,000 students admitted this year. This has led to some unscrupulous individuals exploiting vulnerable students with the assurance of providing them hostel accommodation. University authorities say steps are being taken in collaboration with private entities to provide enough beds for students. In the interim, the authorities have directed that an in-out-out-out arrangement be implemented to make sure that only fresh students are given hostel accommodation on campus, a move the students say is unsustainable. Some of the fresh students who took part in Saturday's matriculation ceremony have been speaking to JoyNews.
I didn't get any accommodation like on campus, and I'm staying at Tema, Community 25, and it's very far from here. Anytime, even though I wake up early, because of traffic, I always get to school late, and sometimes I have my class at 7:30 a.m. And because of that, I always be late in class. And what the lecturer teaches, I don't get anything.
Whenever I wake up, I think I wake up early. I wake up around 4. But then when I get to school, because of some traffic I might be missing some of my classes, and it's really stressful because Kaswa, my 11. When you close from school to when you get home, you can't learn because you are very tired, and it's not helping. Because it can make your GPA fall, and when your GPA falls, you are in big trouble.
Many people are facing accommodation problem. For example, me, for instance, I stay at Dansuma. Every day, let's say if I'm having lectures at 7:30, it's very tiring. And the traffic on the way, I spend about almost 20 Ghana. And if you remove the cost out of it, I have to be lectures on time. And always, I've never missed lectures before, and I'm always on time lectures, but it's stressful for me. I can't do that for almost even a year, because for what I was told that after a year, before you can apply for another hall, and it's too much for me. So
No, I'm not satisfied with that at all. I don't like it, because we are about, when you add the level 200s, 300s and 400, we are more than even the 100s who will be admitted. And you telling us to go outside for them to come in, that same challenge will come back again, and it will really affect the whole student's body.
In all, about 18,000 undergraduate and postgraduate students have been enrolled officially to pursue various courses in the humanities and sciences. Evans Aziamo Menso's report for JoyNews.
Well, away from education, let's focus on some forestry issues. And the Forestry Commission office in the Aurane municipality of the Western North region has destroyed 17 gold detectors and other equipment used by illegal miners at the Tano Huru forest upon an order by the district court. Well, Inatalia Kwanza has more in the following report.
The action, the third of its kind carried out by the Forestry Commission, follows continuous invasion and destruction of the forest by illegal miners, mostly foreigners. The forest reserve, according to the district manager of the commission, Abdullah Seidu Ali, is facing a serious risk of environmental catastrophe due to the activities of illegal mining.
It's in connection with confiscated items that we confiscated from illegal operators in our forest reserves. Those things that you see are from illegal confiscation, as I said. These are metal detectors for gold. The street value we are talking about $500 million that we just destroyed. It's about 17 of them. One of them costs about 250,000, or to say 25,000, sorry. So this is the value of the items that we are destroying. This is what they use underneath the soil to make sure that they get the gold. So in the course of their operation, they use it to detect where the gold is, then that area, or they take everything that is there. So the activity that they do, this is so dangerous that it's threatening the life of the forest officers, it threatens the lives of the timber operators, it threatens the life of hunters, and it threatens their own very life. So this is what they do. Economically, they destroy the trees as well, because these trees will not be available for us again to exploit in terms of timber. There's also social costs.
Though illegal mining is not new, evidence shows that the extent to which they are being perpetrated might wipe away the forest. Assistant District Manager of the Forestry Commission, Richard Amwating, said they are taking stringent measures to preserve all 7 forest reserves in their jurisdiction.
The forest in Inche is one of the best as you can have in the country. These activities are somehow very destructive, looking at the nature and operations that are being carried out by these offenders, because they more or less create a graveyard sort of environment, and it makes the place one way or the other not workable in any other form, because they dig here like we normally see in the cemetery and conduct their activities. Such operations are normally carried out in the night, and monitoring them becomes an issue. Unfortunately, on our part, anytime we decide to embark on such operations, they also have devised certain means by way of planting informants at various points during the day, just as to relay information to them on their field. So by the mere fact that you embark even on your journey to the field to cause an arrest or effect arrest, before you reach there, information might have been carried across to them. So you go there, you don't see anybody. Most of these people who commit such crimes are not, excuse me to say, are not Ghanaians. Some are from Guinea, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, and whatever. They are the people who bring these machines. Our local people don't have the financial might or muscles to buy these machines. So they bring them in and engage our people to cause all these distractions. So we are employing the traditional authorities in as much as possible to assist us.
The Boyne River and other water bodies that take their source from this forest have been left heavily polluted, depriving residents in nearby communities of clean water and putting at risk the lives of thousands. Traditional authorities are furious about this. Paramount Chief of Awowin Traditional Area, Beiman Tanokwal, speaks about his frustration.
We have taken a lot of steps, one of which was about the organization of the youth in the Enchi township to combat the menace of Galamsey. First of all, it is quite appropriate to note that it's not as if I am against mining per se. I am against destructive mining, quote and unquote. That's how I put it. So the destruction of our forests, of our water bodies, that is what I'm against. So we formed a team of the youth to try to combat it. You know, since you're here, I will actually encourage you to go to the Uwabra township and go and see what is happening there. It is dastardly, to put it mildly. I don't think excavators just vanish into thin air and appear here. There is a police barrier at Uwabra. Why do we have all these changfans, 4 of which are at the palace? You can come and take photographs of them. So I am doing my best. I am not getting the needed help. Unfortunately, that is the deal.
In Athalia Kwanzaa's report for JoyNews.
Well, continuous distraction to our own vegetative cover. But let's end the news. But before we go, we turn our attention to some mainstream politics. And former municipal and district chief executives in the Upper West region had their pride and egos deflated when they were defeated during the weekend New Patriotic Party parliamentary primaries. The result was shocking when, for example, the one municipal chief executive, Tahiru Isahako Mumin, lost to an unpopular chief executive officer in the person of Hajia Humu. And, well, Humu Audu herself said that she was happy that she won. JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam brings to you a wrap-up of what transpired in the primaries in the region.
A little over 3,000 delegates decided the fate of 24 aspirants and 6 orphan constituencies in the Upper West region. The biggest shock of all took place at the work campus of the University for Development Studies. Founder and Chief Executive Officer of Hajia Umu Foundation, Umu Audu, pummeled 2-time parliamentary candidate of the party and now one municipal chief executive, Isaku Tahir Mumin, in a primary that also had 3 other contestants. The Lemaire Vobile starlet polled 302 votes, whilst the one mayor polled 260 votes. Nuruddin Ahmed Furuko was one aspirant many expected to pull a surprise in the race, considering the high-profile persons that were part of his campaign. His best was 208 votes. Basiruddin Janet Bibi did not have the same luck that propelled her in the 2015 primary to lose by a whisker. She had 12 votes, whilst Abu Bakr Salfu Orson, who campaigned for the restoration of the heritage of the party, got 7 votes. Hajia Umu Audu was grateful to the delegates.
It's time. What Central is saying, we need a survivor. We need somebody who will move us. We need somebody who will bring people, empower them, give them jobs, push them, let them grow. I think this is a win to prove to both NDC and PP that we are all same. It's a win to make everybody know that people want change. People want a woman they want to try a woman too, because it has never happened before. And I pledge that I'm going to use all my connections that I have in Accra to get it down here to West Central.
In reality, there was a shadow candidate in the contest whose picture was not on the ballot paper. Constituency Chairman Ali Kamara has not hidden his dislike for Tahir Isaku Mumin and openly campaigned against him. Chairman Kamara accused the mayor of holding campaign funds to the detriment of the party, an allegation that the mayor's also denied. For Chairman Kamara, victory for any of the aspirants apart from Tyree Saku moment, was a victory for him. He got his wish answered in Haji Umu Audu. In solidarity, hundreds of MPP party supporters converged at the forecourt of his house at Zongo to celebrate the victory and also to renew their loyalty to him and the party. Former Jiruba NDC Member of Parliament, Paul Derogoba, has his parliamentary ambition now flamed out, but this time will run on the ticket of the MPP. He won a landslide victory against Jiruba Municipal Chief Executive, Christine Bombaja Amadou. Now listen to this.
Nobody will believe it. Their battle is going to be like the Goliath and David tactics, and that one will happen comes 2020. I don't even fear any candidate. Any caliber of candidate they are bringing to Wawest District. Honorable Edward Labiri, who is the DC for Wawest now, is going to carry the day.
Unfortunately, he lost to his tribesman and former 2008 parliamentary candidate Daniel Kunsonodare. Another district chief executive that lost in the primary was Nadolo Keleus Catherine Lankono. She was beaten by the 2016 candidate of the party, Elvis Bonem Mulembota. The only district chief executive that won in the 6 primaries was Nadi Morosanda of Dafiema Bure Isa. He beat 4 other persons, including the former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Elias Kabina Ansori. Former Upper West MPP Regional Secretary, Bridal Vielodon Baligi, will make another attempt on the Lambuse seat after he failed in the 2016 general election. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Well, that was a great wrap-up by Rafik Salam, and we will definitely have Evans Demakun, the Director of Elections for the governing New Patriotic Party, and we'll talk about what transpired in the primaries over the weekend. It promises to be some great discussion, but please stay with us. We'll have some great discussions alongside. We all know the brouhaha or the impasse over the mass failure of applicant or candidate who sat through that examination to enter the Ghana Law School. And subsequently, we also know about that whole sexual education that will be introduced in our schools, that so far has incurred the wrath of many, not only on social media, but also mainstream media as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back.